know I remember we lost Judge Cleckley.
Yeah, we lost him. He had he had pretty bad last years of his life. I mean, he was like me now. I've lost my balance a lot.
You have diabetes? I know he had that.
Yeah. In fact, I was on exactly when he went into a coma. My son was in medical school at that time, and he was assigned to his. The students are assigned with doctors, and so he was on Cleckley's team for support. And I remember Victor saying what he got in trouble with that time, and that carried through even afterwards to continue to give him problems.
Really?
Victor said to me, Dad, Professor Cleckley was on the same exact medicines you take. I went, wow. Be careful.
Right.
I've had my rounds.
With diabetes. How long have you been diabetic?
Well, since 90, we knew it was coming, but 96 or 97.
Is it in your family history?
I don't know a relative that doesn't either have it or not, or will have it.
Wow.
We all have it. We all have it, and I keep my numbers good. I mean, yesterday I was 96. This morning I was 112. That if you stay in a range of 90 to 120 or so, you won't have any trouble. So I eat. I'm not on insulin.
Right. So you change your diet.
No, well, my diet still contains some sugar.
Right.
Without any question. And potatoes. I love potatoes, and potatoes just turn to sugar, and actually milk just turns to sugar in your body.
Right.
So you got those problems to deal with. But I had heart issues, which I knew with. I'm the first man in our male in my family, right, women or men, to be named, to live beyond 60 years old.
Wow.
And I'll be 77 next week. And my brother was the oldest. But he died about 3 years ago at 76. So we aren't long livers. But I got a cow's valve in here. It's working.
Trying to take care of yourself.
I take care of myself. Don't drink, don't smoke.
That's good.
I don't exercise enough, but I'm tired all the time. Right now, I'm just recovering from shingles.
Yeah.
And those things are hurtful, except I had my 2 shots. And so Victor's a doctor. My son's he just lives a mile from me out of Cheat Lake. But he's a chief medical officer of MedExpress. They have 300 and some offices or clinics or what you want to call them in 18 states now.
Okay.
I was going to show you what I look like with shingles. Don't get shingles.
My former attorney friend Bob Cohen. You know Bob?
Yeah.
Been knowing Bob for years.
Knew him since he came to Marion County when he was up there on the top of the hill.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Is he originally from? He's not originally from here. Where's he from?
No, I don't know where he and Kathy came from to be sure.
I know Richard's from New York. Could they be from New York?
Richard Cohen?
Richard Cohen.
Yeah, I don't know, are they cousins or something?
No, you know what? Bob was my lawyer, and I asked him about that. And Richard told me that he moved to Marion County, and he's looking for a lawyer to work with, and he just looked in the phone book and saw Cohen. And they hooked up, and then something else.
I haven't seen Richard for quite a while now.
I ran into him at Cleckley's memorial that
Yeah.
WVU did. We're still doing things with West Virginia Blackunity Coalition. We're WVU, the Entrepreneurial and Innovation Clinic. They are working to help us get our tax-exempt status. And it's not just me now. I have a beautiful woman with me. I figured I better bring a woman on too, huh? So I got her.
Sometimes they're more trouble than they are.
Well, she's my god sister, so I gotta we gotta work too hard on that, right?
But I'm listening to you. I'm just trying to find something here.
But we got her on there now, and we're looking to be able to try to address the state's disparities in terms of wealth and housing and employment and so forth. And so there's a report that was issued by the American Friends Service back in 2010.
So what do you do? What do you do for a living?
What I do for a living is I'm on Social Security, and I do this, and I work cases, and I'm an entrepreneur. Yeah, that's
You hear about the boy that died, Clay County, the football player that died?
I did hear about that that's all on the news and everything. Isn't that sad? Just playing football and you go and you go. What was wrong with him?
I will be at his funeral. He is my baby brother's grandson. It's really hard on him.
I bet it is, man. What was something wrong with him?
No. As far as they knew, he was a healthy 17-year-old. Was going to be ready. Was going to be going to WVU, not playing football, but he was a good, decent football player. But he's not type going to go on. But was going to be the first person in their family to be in college. Was going to be here at the university next year, and they did an autopsy and they couldn't pinpoint it. They said his heart just
gave.
Yeah.
See, I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the things that we're doing, West Virginia Black Unity Coalition downstairs, we are looking to be able to develop a program for holistic wellness. I've heard they have something here like that already. There's something called the alkaline diet that teaches people to eat green foods and eat certain type alkaline water, alkaline food, green food.
That's what I eat mostly. I'm 40 pounds lighter than I was in February of 2017 when I had heart surgery.
Right. You look different from the last time I've seen you. Lost.
This is what you look like. I'll come back to this. This is Sunday morning when I was supposed to be the head usher at the church, which meant I shook hands as they came in. I said, "Don't put me." I said to Becky, "We're not going to church this morning." I said, "If I were out there standing at the door with that looking like that," and I said, "If I said, well, they'd apply some Bible literature to me, and they'd say, 'Whoa, there's a leper.'"
Yeah, I said the same thing when I looked at you. You look kind of like a leper. Yeah.
That's Monday morning. That's Tuesday morning. That looks like I was in a bar fight or something.
What do? They come and go at certain times of the year?
No, you can have them if you've had chicken pox. You remember if you had chicken pox when you were young?
I don't remember. I had the mumps, but I don't remember having
the mumps. I had whooping cough, mumps, and measles, and I had 4 things. Not 2 of them at the same time. I can't remember how they went now. But it's shingles. It generally is in some spot in your body, and it just gets these little bumps and sores, and they hurt to where you can't catch them. But they have vaccinations for them, and you had to have 2 shots a series for it's supposed to be effective. And I did. I'd had mine too. When Victor came in and I told him to take it, I said, "Take it. Look at my face. It's starting to look crazy." And my eye was swollen. And he looked at me and very immediately said, "You've got shingles." I said, No, I can't have shingles. I've had my 2 shots." And he said, "No, you still can have it." But he said, "Here's the good news. It'll probably, you might lose, it might be over the end of this week." That was a Saturday. He told me the end of next week. Next week. He said, "But it may take a couple weeks, or it might even take longer. You can't tell it, I don't think, but I still have some of the things. This morning I went through my head and see if I could feel any little bumps.
It has to pass through you, doesn't it?
It has to pass through you some way, and some people have it. It'll last 8 or 9 months.
Right, it won't pass. It take it that long for it to pass through.
But 95% of mine was gone in about Tuesday. That one I showed you, the last one. Thursday at 2:30, I was in Marion County in the courthouse, and I had 2 juvenile delinquency hearings. Both parents, both children, they're not married right now, but they're lawyers, and the 2 girls are up on juvenile delinquency.
Wow.
It'll all be worked out.
But I pay attention to issues like that too, because again, if you're lawyers and you're having problems with your children, you're wondering.
Well, you're putting too much time into lawyering, or you're putting too much time in something else, or you've seen this.
Different world now, though.
I want to say little girl, but that would be a misnomer. Was in middle school, and my guess is she weighed 185 pounds.
In middle school?
Yeah, I think maybe.
She's eating too much.
Well, she's just really
Yeah,
chubby.
yeah.
And what she had to do might have been a reaction to bullying, you know, but obviously, you'd read the tea leaves and you'd say, that little girl is being left out, and she needs to work on it, and somebody else in leadership position needs to work on it to help her have friends, probably. For what she did was just silly, stupid. She didn't mean it, but but we had to take a look at it.
Right. I know you can't talk too much about that stuff.
Well, I can't tell you specifically.
Right, because attorney-client and consultation,
Well, yeah.
and that's just keeping being authentic.
So back to you, Ava, why you came here.
Well, actually, I stopped to see Mr. Bastress, and again, I'm up here to check on my status with the Innovative Law Clinic downstairs. So I figured while I was here, I would stop to see Mr. Bastress. He wasn't in. I seen your door cracked, and I hadn't seen you.
And you followed one of my rules as I grew up. If I can get my toe in the door, I can get in there.
You can get in there.
I'm the first kid in my whole clan, uncles, aunts, older brother, older sister, cousins, first to graduate from high school. My whole family.
Right, and you also served you was chief judge here in Mon County.
I was chief judge here, and I was chief justice in Supreme Court for 3 years too.
Right.
Yeah, and I was on there 12. Yeah. So, and my daughter's a lawyer, my son's a doctor, and my baby daughter is I never know what to call her. I'll call her a geriatric specialist, but she works in the medical field with old parts.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
did all right for a country kid that didn't have to.
Born here in Mon County.
No, born in Roane County.
In Roane County.
That little boy's from.
Okay.
He's not a little boy. He's a good sized kid.
Now, where's Roane County specifically?
Spencer's the county seat. It's exactly 50 miles north of Charleston and 50 miles south of Parkersburg.
Okay, I see
and
where
actually, it's like this. If this is Parkersburg and this is Charleston down here, right over on this side, right here, is Ripley, and over on this side is Spencer. They're 25 miles apart, and it forms just a
Okay. I'm also attempting to archive the state's history. I'm working with the Mary Reed.
She's not the dean of journalism now. Is that who you're thinking of?
Well, I'm working with Mary K. McFarland because she's archiving. She's an assistant down there at the
library.
At the media center. She is archiving the segregated history of black people within the state when they were going to the segregated school systems. She contacted me for help, and I'm putting her in contact with those people that had went through the segregated school systems. And
few of them
are alive.
Around now.
Yeah, they're passing.
Yeah.
And we haven't done the best job on archiving the history of the segregated school system here in the state. This state had one of the better segregated school systems than anywhere in the whole nation.
Well, we had
the old Store College up here at
much better teachers in the public school. We had more teachers with advanced degrees than the public school did.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I've had a brain injury. I need to tell you that, and I have a speech impediment. And
okay.
Sometimes I mumble and
You want to say something and it can't get it out.
It won't come out. That's exactly it. It won't come out. I then I have to roll it around and to get the damn thing out.
I'll work with you.
I don't think I'm mentally less stable or anything, but I do have a modest speech impediment from it, and I also have terrible balance now. I have to be really careful wherever I walk.
Wow. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
bleeding in my brain from the injury, from my head injury.
Well, since I'm here talking to you, and I'm gonna leave you on this note because I do like to interview people. What do you see as your legacy for the state of West Virginia? You've been on the Supreme Court. You've been a lawyer here fighting cases. You're perceived as a moderate or progressive person. If I'm wrong, tell me you're wrong.
I'm perceived by many as a crazy left-wing radical.
Yeah.
But I'm far from that.
Okay.
I'm actually I'm a fiscal conservative, but that doesn't mean I don't want to fund things that I think should be funded. I really am for things that could be funded, but I'm not for wasting public money.
Right.
And like our Supreme Court did here recently,
With buying new furniture for the down there.
Well, let me ask you this: if you had an office down there in at state capitol, you've been there, you've seen that building.
Beautiful.
What if you got in the newspaper that you spent $500,000 remodeling your office?
Yeah.
I don't see how that's possible.
That looks bad.
I mean, you can buy a house in Greystone, which I live in, which I call Snob's Knob. You can buy a house in Greystone for $500,000.
Right.
You can buy one like the new coach did for $2.2 million if you want to. Also, but my 2 doors down from me, that one's for sale for $1.1 million. It's a nice home. I bought a Greystone fixer-upper. I have personally built 3 houses from the ground, for 2 totally from the ground up, and 1 mostly from the ground up. And I bought this one, ripped all out the insides, and remodeled it. So I'll make some money on it.
So you're a businessman here in town too?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, you're not a businessman.
Once upon a time, me and 2 other lawyers, David Hanlon from the law school at that time, and Mike Mowry, who was with me at Legal Aid. In fact, he had the Marion County office back when Bob Colle first came here. Mike was still there, Mike Mowry.
Okay, see, I don't remember.
No, you don't remember, big guy. But I developed that original legal aid program here.
Well, in the state, or just in this area?
It was the first rural one. No, it was a second civil. See, mine was civil. Was not the criminal cases went out to
Right.
all the lawyers.
Right, you can't go to legal aid for help on the criminal cases.
No, well, you can go, but you won't get it.
Right.
Yeah, I did that. So I was known as a very, very sorry. I don't know whether you see that little thing right there in the newspaper.
What a long, strange trip it's been. When Larry Starcher began his tenure as Justice of the Supreme Court of Appeals, we expected him to follow in the footsteps of luminaries such as Richard Neely and Darrell McGraw, whose footsteps often led directly out of their offices into their mouths.
Yeah, we just act all the time.
Right. Richard Neely, he's another guy that he's pragmatic.
Yeah, well, he is.
Yeah, because I look at Richard, even though I see him as being conservative, I see him as...
He'll go, if he gets...
If you violate the Constitution, he'll protect the Constitution.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah, I know that about him.
Yeah, well, Richard, I told Richard, I said, Richard, because he went off on one of his things, very, very, very smart.
Right.
But just wild what he says sometimes. Like one time, he was speaking to the girls at Rhododendron Girls State. That's an American Legion thing they have annually. And like it's Boys State, Mountaineer Boys State. I don't know, it's a VFW or something like that sponsors it in Jacksonville in this state. I think every state has one. Richard was speaking to the girl. He was asked to be a speaker, and he told his 11th grade girls to be sure and carry a condom in their purse. Yeah, he did.
That was controversial.
That was controversial.
Yeah.
And he got in trouble for using one of his law clerks to
babysit.
Babysit.
I paid attention to him. I read his book. I went and got his book.
Yeah.
Take Back Our Neighborhood.
Well,
that was controversial too.
I didn't read that one.
But I liked it because he said that the people that live in those neighborhoods have a direct right to be able to stand up and protect themselves, to patrol those communities, to make sure that they're safe. And I like that. I
about broke Richard's heart. He had his first book was something different. I have it at home. I can't even remember the name of it now, but it had more to do with governance. And they have this auction here to get money for PIA, which is an arm of this school that it's an organization. It's a 50c3 IRS organization, and they have an auction every year. And I was asked Richard, we were trying to get stuff, anybody give us something we could auction off, and they raised $30,000 at an auction.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, I asked him, and I was on the court that time. I think I was just still judge up here, but I asked Richard if he had anything he could donate. He said, "Oh yes," and he got one of his books out of his wherever it was, and he signed it nice and big, and then he said he couldn't be there, but at the auction, I said, "We don't have to be." Yeah.
Okay.
So it was put up for auction, and I actually did buy it. I gave him $20. I figured I considered it a donation, and I counted it as a donation, but I still got the book.
Okay.
But Richard wanted to know, what did it go for? That's how much did it go for? So I said, Richard, that book, she put it up with a single. Maybe she should have put it with bundled it with some other ones. I said, put it up there, and I said, he started to try to get a bid on it. Couldn't get anybody to give a bid on it. And somebody yelled 50 cents, and there was a big laugh. And he was trying to get that bid up higher and bid up higher. And I really, all of a sudden, I just felt embarrassed for you. And so I said $2, and I bought it for $2. He said, "Oh, you're kidding me."
Wow, $2, huh?
You're kidding me. I said, I didn't buy it for $2.
How old is he now?
He is just a speck year older than me. I think he's probably 78 right now.
I thought he was older than that. He must have been on the bench when he was young.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
He might be 80.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's got to at least be up. But he always had a young appearance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he also would wear a 3-piece vest and everything, wool suit with large checks.
Right.
In the summertime.
Right. And now, look.
I said to him one day, I said, "Richard, you're so full of shit, your eyes are brown." And he says, "What? Yeah, I know that, but most people don't."
I got one more question. One more guy for you. I know you're busy. Recently, we lost up here in Ohio County, Judge Arthur Reck. I have a tremendous amount of respect for him, and I tell other people.
Yeah, he was a ceiling breaker. He dared. I mean, it didn't make magic. Didn't happen just because he made a ruling. But in the school system, he says you got to fund these things in a balanced way, in a
thorough and efficient, and
it made some changes, as you probably know. I'm gonna guess I'll bet you're about 61 or 2.
Man, people usually tell me I'm younger than that, man.
Well, you do look younger than that.
I'm 56, man.
Damn it, you know why? My African American male friends, they all look younger than they are. But I was thinking you must be older. The reason is
because I'm telling you about certain things.
And you also said you had disability, and I thought, well, you may be getting right there.
Well, that's changing nowadays. People younger and younger are getting disability. I didn't get it until I got it back in the early 2000s. I was working at a Chinese food delivery person, and the war went on. I was breaking up with a girl, so I decided I would go in and apply for disability because I went through a depression at that time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But later on, I ended up getting a job working at the television station. That helped me out of my depression.
Yeah.
Getting a good job.
Well, I've been depressed in my life once for about 2 years, and I just hold up.
How did you know? How did you know you was depressed?
I know because I didn't want to go out and sit in the courtroom and face people, and low energy, and it was when my high school girlfriend, when I learned that my high school girlfriend loved her boss more than she loved me.
Certain things can wear on you emotionally and drive and slip you off into a depression.
Yeah, but the lawyers downtown knew. I don't know whether you heard of him, but Sam Gotti was kind of a lawyer that was
I know of him.
a real character. He had the best sense of justice of any lawyer I ever dealt with. I can tell you stories all day about Sam, and he one day when I had moved out and I bought a house within a mile or so of her my ex-wife at that time still lived, and the kids both came to live with me because she was just running around, what she was doing mostly. And Molly eventually went home because she told me, "Dad, I'm tired of carrying my luggage back and forth from house to house." I said, "I understand that." Your mother and her mother was really leaning on her, but Victor wouldn't go. He never went back to live with her. He would not. I mean, he wanted to stay with me, and that gave me some. I said in my mind, he probably saved me because I had to go home and deal with him. And and I just had him by myself home and have dinner. Well, the case, because men at that time still had a long shot at getting custody of a child.
Right,
like we
right.
didn't know how to feed him, or we didn't know how to, I said, and we did not go eat McDonald's every day. That was remained to be a treat. I went home, I cooked a meal, we sat down at the table in the dining room.
And ate.
And ate, and talked about school and whatever, and then I would say, can I help you with anything on your school? And generally he would teach me rather than me teach him, because he was a straight A student.
And children can teach their parents.
Sure,
I went through the same thing with my children.
I just wanted to, if I had got caught in a case and the question was, well, do you take him out to eat at, say, McDonald's? And I said, yeah, periodically. It's kind of a treat. How many nights a week do you probably eat out? And I'd say, well, one, or maybe on some very, very, very rare occasion, maybe twice, but basically once. And where do you eat the rest of them? Well, I eat at home. I know tell you exactly what he likes best. Mac and cheese. I don't like mac and cheese, but he does. And I feed him mac and cheese. I feed him, I don't remember what all I went through. And I said, and we'll do it in the dining room at home. We don't do it in front of the TV.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's good. So that's one of the things that men need help with now.
I'd say about 2 years I was depressed. I mean, I just sit in my office and wait for me to have to do something, and when I had to do it, I'd do it.
But you were breaking up with a woman at that time, and that contributed to the depression.
I was broke.
See, I went through the same thing too. I've seen other men go through it, and we have to counsel men. I'm gonna get out of here because you got stuff to do. We have to counsel men that are fighting for custody with because men love their children, and that disrupts their lives terribly. So
yeah, one of the things I started here, I got elected in large part, or no, not in large part, but in a small part, that because I had expressed during my campaign that I was going to treat men differently in marriages. Now, I pissed off a few women, I really did, but women could just get away with anything. I mean, they just had to walk up and say, this is what I want, and the judges said, well, get your lawyer to put it on paper, and you'll have it, and that was about it. And so I started doing some, and some people looked askance at it, but it turned out to not be a pretty good system, and they still do it. Stay with one. This worked when they live close to each other. But when one takes off to California, then you got to start saying, well, if you get him 9 months out there, then I know you may want to go to vacation with him, but in the summer, you live in California, and that's where he's in school, but your husband or their daddy's going to get him at least 60 days in the summer.
Get some time with his children, man.
That's right.
Look, I had to go through that with the children's mother, right? And I really didn't. I loved my children. I had them. You know what I'm saying? They're 2 girls. And I remember she had the advantage with the courts and all that. And she got
at that time, she did. Now,
this women's group came on and gave her support. I had a hearing, and I said, who are these people? We're such and such from the such group. I said, what are they doing here for? They were allowed to sit in on the hearing. Normally,
no, they should not have been allowed.
They shouldn't have been able to sit in on that hearing. Now, and the judge at that time, that was here, Culpepper. I asked them who were they, and Culpepper stopped me from asking.
So do you live in Montague County?
I'm living in Montague. But I just I wanted to meet with you and try.
Yeah, good seeing you.
Judge Dunn, sorry.
A little wobbly.
Okay. Listen, I'm gonna keep it. Let me take a card from you, and I'll be in touch with you.
Yeah, do.
I'd like to come back through and do a formal interview with you.
Yeah, take a couple of them, you might.
But how about one? And what I was gonna put over here, I have to keep things around my neck, or I'll lose them too.
Well, I probably should do that, but I don't. No, this is the last semester I'm going to teach because I can't, because actually it was my speech impediment, My speech impediment is I'm doing pretty well talking, and all of a sudden I want to say, and I'm looking at this thing right here. Explain that to me.
Oh, this on my jacket?
Yeah.
Well, what happened was a friend of mine Hey, my friend of mine had a coat that was too big, and he said, "Hey, man, you look like a WVU football coach. It's too big for me. Do you want it?" So that's exactly. I don't know anything about this. It's got WVU.
My clothier is Gabriel's. Gabriel shirt, Gabriel pants. Well, shoes aren't Gabriel.
Man, I got a lot of questions to ask. I'm thinking about names. I'm thinking about Bill Stewart.
Oh yeah.
Another guy that I like. Out of all the coaches, I like Bill Stewart better than anybody.
Yes, and I think the bad deal we gave him is partially responsible for his death.
Really?
I do.
I like Bill Stewart, man.
My son Victor lived about 3 or 4 doors from him when he was a coach, when he was an under coach, and he's going to have the highest percentage of wins any coach in the history of this state for a long time, though.
Who, Bill Stewart?
Yeah. He had.
You talking about overall from his whole career?
No, just the last two. The last 2 seasons that he was here. He's only here about 2. He was a coach, I think, maybe about 2 seasons.
He had that winning of it.
Yes. He went to a bowl game and beat the crap out of somebody that everybody thought we'd get beat 60-0.
I know Pat White liked him a whole lot.
Yeah,
and I wondered why Pat liked him so much. But then I was up here one day and I seen somebody coming up the hill, and it was him.
He sounded kind of country,
Yeah.
and I said, just like Coach Hangoverson, I hope you didn't like him. I called him Hangoverson.
I didn't know him that well.
I've seen it on television. I've seen him go like this. Something's going bad out there. He throws those ears.
Yeah.
And I said,
he didn't have. He's kind of little crude.
Worse than that, in terms of, do you think he would be a good mentor for young men?
Going off temper tantrums and all that kind of stuff.
Well, the way he acted, he was thrown out of 2 gambling places, drunk. This was drank way too much. Poor role model. Now, I think this new guy. this is snacks from my class. I had 3 hours.
That always helps.
We have 3-hour class, so it's a great time. I think this guy here, even though he looks like a 12-year-old in this picture, that's our new